We've all been there. You're just staring at your screen. You see that little spinning wheel or the hourglass, and it's just going and going.
Oh, absolutely. The spinning wheel of death.
And you click and nothing. And you have to wonder, is this thing actually working on a really, really hard problem, or is it just broken forever?
Well, it's the universal frustration of the digital age, isn't it? But you're not just looking at a glitch. You are staring directly into a fundamental mathematical abyss. That spinning wheel, that's the halting problem.
And we're not just talking about buggy software here. This is a concept that really defines the absolute limits of what computers can even do. Alan Turing formalized this, back in the 1930s?
That's right. The goal was to figure out if we could write a perfect program, a kind of universal debugger that could look at the code of any other program and, predict its future.
So it could tell you with 100% certainty, yes, this program will finish, or...
No, this one's going to loop forever. And Turing's answer, after all that work, was a definitive, resounding no.
Which is just wild when you think about it. It's not that we haven't figured out how to write that program yet. It's that it is logically impossible.
It's mathematically undecidable.
So let's walk through the proof, because this is the really fun part of this deep dive. It's one of those self-reference things, right? A bit like the liar's paradox.
Exactly. Turing proved it by contradiction.
Yeah.
He said, okay, let's imagine we did build this magic machine. Let's call it the Oracle.
Okay, so the Oracle exists, you feed it any piece of code, and it tells you perfectly if it halts or loops.
Right. But then, to break it, we build a second program, a devious one. We can call it the Saboteur.
The Saboteur, I like it.
And the Saboteur is designed to be a complete contrarian. It takes its own source code, feeds that code into the Oracle to see what it predicts about itself, and then it does the exact opposite.
Wait, if the Oracle looks at the Saboteur and says, okay, this program is going to halt.
Then the Saboteur is programmed to immediately kick into an infinite loop.
And if the Oracle says, oh, the Saboteur is definitely going to loop forever?
The Saboteur just stops, halts immediately.
So the Oracle is wrong no matter what it predicts. Wow. By trying to analyze itself through this other program, the logic it completely collapses.
It proves a universal predictor cannot exist. It's a beautiful logical trap.
And a little historical note here, right? Turing didn't actually call it the halting problem.
That's right, yeah. That term was probably coined by a mathematician named Martin Davis much later in 1952. Turing was working on a broader thing called the Entscheidungs problem, the decision problem.
Which was this grand dream that we could find an algorithm to prove if any mathematical statement was true or false.
And Turing basically showed, nope, there are some things we can never prove with an algorithm. Now, we should clarify for everyone listening, this doesn't mean we can't debug code.
Right, that is a really key distinction. We aren't saying you can't predict any program. You write print hello world, we all know that's going to stop.
Of course. Or if you write while true, continue, well, that's obviously an infinite loop. We can solve specific cases all day long.
We just can't have one single general algorithm that works for every single possible program and input.
Exactly. For the actual practical work we do, we have solutions.
And, speaking of solutions for really complex problems, that brings us to our sponsor, Embersilk. While Turing defined these theoretical limits, we're all still dealing with the practical reality of building software and AI that actually works.
We certainly are. If you're trying to figure out where AI agents could really make an impact for your business, or even just for you personally, whether that's training or automation or development, you should really check them out.
They really do handle the heavy lifting so you don't get stuck in your own infinite loop. Just check out embersilk.com for your AI needs.
So if we bring this back to the big picture, the halting problem led to something even bigger called Rice's theorem.
Which basically generalizes it, right? It says you can't check for any non-trivial property of a program's behavior.
Exactly. Like, does this program ever print the number 5? You can't write a universal checker for that either.
And that sounds so daunting, like we just hit a wall. But I actually see it as being really optimistic.
I agree completely. It's not a limitation. It's like discovering the edge of the map. It proves that mathematics is infinitely rich and complex. If everything were predictable, the universe would be kind of boring.
That's a great way to put it. It implies creativity and discovery are literally endless. And it opens up this huge philosophical question. Is the universe a computer?
Because if it is, it's subject to these same limits. But what about us? What about the human brain? We can look at that paradox with the Saboteur, and we get it. We see the contradiction that the formal system itself cannot resolve.
That really is the ultimate question, isn't it? If the human mind can intuitively solve a problem that a Turing machine, by definition, cannot, what does that say about the nature of our own consciousness?
It suggests we might just be more than biological machines, that our potential for understanding is maybe limitless.
I love that. A perfect thought to end on. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to Intellectually Curious. And hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.